Welcome to the Making Plays Convo with me, J1, head of hip hop for Pandora. This is the place you find out the plays your favorite artists, influencers, and moguls are making and how they do it. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss out on any exclusive content.
What's going on?
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
I'm great. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I know you're a busy man with all the stuff you got going on.
Nah, I was rushing. I was like, okay, let me get set up, man. I ain't, I'm usually punctual, but a couple of minutes, my bad. I'm so sorry about that.
Nah, you good, man. Thank you for taking the time out to talk with me. This is the Making Plays Convo. And really, we're just going to be talking about all the great plays that you've been making and how you've been making them. But I always want to start off asking, how are you? How are your people doing during all these times?
I'm good. Right now I have a grandmother that, I take care of and different stuff like that while I do my music, stuff like that. So, for me, it's very imperative that, I'm not going out and doing other things that could possibly bring something home to my grandmother and, all that good stuff. So I'm very cautious about everything that's going on. It's made me super like, nah, I ain't even about to do that. On edge because I know, my grandmother, she has breathing problems and stuff like that. So I already know if,
No, I get it. I get
it.
You are doing the smart and loving thing to do. There's not a lot of people out there like that. They'll go out and whoever's at home.
Look, if you catch it, you catch it.
Yeah, you catch it.
Nah,
so
I can't be out here like that, bro.
You are definitely doing the right thing, brother. I salute you. But man, you've been making some incredible plays for a while. I mean, an accomplished producer, songwriter, engineer, singer, 4-time Grammy nominated, worked with everybody from the Backstreet Boys, Brandy, Demi Lovato, Enrique Iglesias, Jennifer Lopez, Tamar Braxton. You even do K-pop, man, with SF9. You're doing your thing. The list goes on. I could be here all day listing the people that you work with, but we got to get into the business. Obviously, 2020 has been a wild year, but what were you working on before things kind of shut down and started going a little crazy?
Actually, I was in Korea when it started going crazy. So
really?
Yes,
okay.
I was there when it first impacted Korea because it started in China and then it went to Korea and Japan, and then from there it went to the States and stuff like that. So I literally was going through a pandemic before it was a pandemic here in the States. And so since I work on K-pop and stuff, I go to Korea a lot. And while I was there, people from the States like, yo, you need to be careful. There's something out there. It's a virus, this, whatever. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Because I'm oblivious to it.
Right.
I look it up and I'm like, yo, what is going on?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, 4 people in Korea had it. And then that turned into 1,000 some people. And then like a church congregation, like I think that they met or whatever. And they all contracted it through a mass church kind of thing. And then, people go their separate ways into, Korea and different stuff like that. And it spread like wildfire. And while I was there, I had to learn how to protect myself. So coming back home, it's like, it's nothing new to me.
So how are they protecting themselves over there that we're not doing over here? Because I think they flattened their curve.
Well, one thing that I will say, they didn't buy up all the toilet paper. That was one thing. And then they didn't buy up all the sanitizer, you know what I'm saying? So I think that they had like a grip of things because over there it's normal for them to wear a mask. The pollution and different stuff that goes on there in South Korea, they make sure they wear masks all the time. So it was normal for them to wear it, But when this pandemic happened, you will never go down the street and see anybody without a mask. It's mandatory. And not even that, like they made it mandatory when you go into an establishment that you have a mask on. And if you got your mask off, like I was drinking a soda, and the woman said,
oh, wow.
And I'm like, what you talking about? Like, what you? I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a serious thing over there. They made sure that they're protecting themselves and everybody else around them. So, yeah.
Man, wow. So I want to go back to the beginning. You're originally from Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
And you grew up listening to Whitney Houston and Brandy. How did you really get your start in music, and when did you realize this was something that you wanted to do as a possible career?
Well, to be honest, like I've always had dreams of like becoming a singer, of course. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, oh man, this is my dream. Ever since I think I was singing, from what my family says, I was singing before I was talking. So, you know, even though I couldn't pronounce the words, you would hear the melody and they'd be like, oh, this boy is over here singing such and such. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I've always had that mindset that I was supposed to be a singer. That's one thing I will say, is that I've never strayed away or not known that that's what I was meant to do. As far as songwriting, that's what came later on, you know. So from me singing all my life, I was just like putting covers on like MySpace
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube and just singing everybody else's song. And then there was a producer that I was working with named Nas 550, and he was like, yo, you can sing your butt off, you can sing everybody's song, you can rearrange everybody's song. He was like, but you don't write your own songs. And I'm like, I don't write, like that's not my thing. I don't like writing. And so he was like, yo, I'm gonna stop making these beats for you unless you start writing.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. So he'll send me like a hook. He was like, do the verses and re-record the whole song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll write the verses, rearrange the hooks, and add the harmonies and arrange it and different stuff like that. And I'll send it back. He was like, yo, this is crazy. So I like, you know, he from like Philly. So he like, oh, this is crazy. A kid, like, boy, you a boy. So I'm like, man, this is whack. It was horrible. And so just from me putting those things up, people would hit me up like, yo, what cover is that? And I'm like, I wrote that. And they were like, what?
Wow.
From there on, it was kind of like people was hitting me up, like mainstream producers, like, do you write? And, you know, I really wasn't writing at that time, but I was like, yeah, I write. Yeah, send it to me, you know? And from there, it's just like, next thing I know, like that year that I took it serious, like writing, I got my placement on Brandy.
Right. I was gonna ask you about that. How did that come about, and how did it feel getting that placement with somebody that you grew up listening to?
Well, at that time, I had did a song with Cadis and Sean, they're super dope producers. But they believed in me, you know, from just like MySpace and stuff. So I had did a song with them, and they flew us out to Orlando to work with this group called Menudo. And Menudo is like an older group where Ricky Martin and
I've heard Menudo.
Right.
Absolutely. That's why I was like, wow.
Yeah. So, you know, at that time, you know, Diddy had the Making the Band and stuff like that. They did a Latin version of Making the Band on MTV, and they remade Menudo.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was like my first time like filming for reality TV and doing the vocal production with a major artist. And so for me doing that, you know, I was going to Atlanta from there, from Kentucky. And so the guy, Brandon Creed, who was at Epic at the time, he was like, yo, you're going to Atlanta. You're not going home? I was like, nah, I'm going to work, you know? He was like, what you working on? I was like, man, I'm trying to get on this Brandy album. Like, I really love her. And he was like, you like Brandy? I was like, yo, I love Brandy. And so he was like, I just signed Brandy. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like everything kind of like, I don't know, it's the weird, like fate kind of, you know what I'm saying? Because things like that don't happen all the time, you know what I'm saying? So from there, it's just like everything was just clockwork.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be, definitely.
So how did you develop your skill and talent to work across so many different genres of music?
Well, I think growing up in Kentucky, it was already instilled in me. I'm used to going to the bowling alley and hearing Reba McEntire and Leanne Rimes and Garth Brooks and all those people because it's very mixed, you know?
Right.
So pop, R&B, all of those genres has always been a big part of my life because of where I grew up, you know? So you can hear like some of the twang in my voice. I'm a little more city now, you know what I'm saying? I got my country is a little gone, but if I need to go there, I can still go there if I need to, you know. So, but it's not there no more. Nah.
So would you advise like other producers, songwriters, engineers, or even singers to kind of expand their musical palette and explore other genres, or just stick to the ones that they're most passionate and knowledgeable about?
Well, you always do what you're passionate about. I think for me, I was always just passionate about making good music. So I was open to listening to different genres, you know? So that's what makes me different, I guess. You know, people, you know, they always like associate me with the Brandys and the Tamars, but a lot of people didn't know that I had placements on the Backstreet Boys and Demi Lovato and Jennifer Lopez and Justin Bieber and, you know, Estelle, John Legend.
Don't forget about K-pop.
But see, that's the thing. Nobody knew that a lot of my placements came from pop. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that has always been like my foundation, pop and R&B. So from there, it's kind of like somebody over in Korea heard me singing and they was like, yo, what are you doing with this record? And I'm like, I ain't doing nothing with it. At that time I was like, I'm done doing music. I don't want to do music no more. And I'm just like, if you want the record, you can have it. It was supposed to be on my album, but I'm just like, whatever. So they bought it, you know, they put it out like within like a couple days. It was the fastest thing I've ever seen. My money was there. And I'm like, oh, this is the fastest that I've ever got my money. Like, you know, when you work with these people and these artists, you know, you be sometimes a year and a half before you get your money, you know? So I'm like, yo, okay, cool.
No wonder you was over in Korea messing with them K-pop dudes. They pay you on time.
Let me tell you something. They pay on time. That's one thing I do not mind working over in Korea as opposed to being over here. Like, you get your credit, you get your money, you get everything you need to get, like, and they have no issue with giving you your just due. Here, you gotta, you know, it takes forever for people to get your money. Then you might not get the credit, and then you do all of this stuff. They don't put you in the album booklet, and then you do. It's just, and then the artists want to be writers, and they be lying. So you know, I just.
Oh man. Well, look, you dropped an incredible project on Juneteenth, that Rain joint, man. Highly anticipated. You've been dropping singles for a while, but what made you finally decide to drop an actual project?
I think that it was just time. A lot of people would hit me up like, yo, what are you doing? Like, drop an album. Like, we don't really get to hear who you are musically, you know, because they're just so used to me just putting songs out here and there and not being consistent. But I think that the problem with me was I was very insecure with, you know, putting music out because I had my moments of questioning if I was really supposed to do this because of the things that has happened within just the industry and stuff like that. I was at that point where it was just like, I'm just tired of dealing with people, and I just take my money that come in from ASCAP and I just do what I need to do, you know. Other than that, you know, I'm just over it. So it definitely became a situation that I was just like, man, I need to just go on and do it and just stop overthinking things and start putting myself first as opposed to putting everybody else that I work with first. You know what I'm saying? So that was my issue. Is, you know, when people call, you drop everything and then you go make sure that they okay. But then when it gets back to you, like, nobody's there. Nobody's posting your stuff. Yeah. Nobody's retweeting your stuff that you work with. And so you used to that, you know what I'm saying? So me, it's just like, I don't want to do it, you know. But now I'm at the point where it's just like, I don't care. I'm just going to put it out. Like, you know, I don't care who don't want me to be an artist, who might feel a way about me being an artist. It is what it is. Like, take it up with God, you know.
Well, I mean, it's doing numbers. The fans obviously like it, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters. So, and I had a chance to listen to it. It sounds incredible. The songs
Thank
that
you.
I'm feeling particularly are Skin Deep, Suffocated Lies, because you kind of had like an Afro beats type world vibe on it, and
Right.
then Miss Me, you took me to that trap soul, which Kentucky is kind of known for.
Listen, yeah, the Bryson Tillers and all that stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to show a different side of who I am because I'm so diverse when it comes to like making music and recording music. Everybody's so used to me putting stuff out with acoustic. Nobody really had the beats, you know what I mean? So
Right,
it's kind of
right.
like, let me just throw something out there that they not even expecting on it, you know what I'm saying? I've been super influenced by Afrobeat for the past couple years, and there's a couple artists that I love over there that I've been like in communications with. So I've been kind of like learning, as to say, like different aspects of their music because I love it.
Yeah.
Different cultures and different stuff. Just from being over in Korea, just kind of like taught me a different way of thinking when it comes to music,
Absolutely. I love asking this question to most songwriters who are also artists. And now that you're putting out like music for real now, like your own music, how do you determine which songs you're going to keep and which songs you're going to end up giving away or writing for somebody else?
Well, I think when I go into a mode, it's kind of like, this is mine. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is mine. Like, my problem was I would do that, and then when somebody wanted it, I'll just give it away. Like, it was
Yeah.
never an issue for me to give somebody a song because I know that I can recreate anything. You know what I'm saying? I can make something new. So, I never held on to records, one, because of that reason, but also I never want to stop the bag for my other collaborators that I do music with, like the producer. So it's got to be in agreement with me and the producer, because I never want to stop money coming to other people, you know what I'm saying? So I always take that into account, and I try not to be selfish, even though I'll be wanting my own stuff.
Yeah.
If it's to the bag we got to get, then it is what it is, because it's not just me, it's other people's lives that are affected as far as like selling records and stuff like that.
Facts. You've talked about dealing with mental health in the past, and during this time when it feels like the whole world has been turned upside down, what advice would you give for people to help protect their mental health?
Prayer.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, when I went through my whole little journey of kind of coming back to myself,
Right.
because I felt like being in the industry and being around certain people, it kind of like drained me, you know what I'm saying? It kind of put me into such a negative place, and I just found myself just constantly spiraling,
Yeah.
And so for me, it was very big for me to come home and be around my family and be around people who genuinely love me, who genuinely care about my well-being, as opposed to their well-being and making sure they get what they need, and then when they're done, they don't want to pay you for stuff like that. So it was a big thing to go home and just reconnect with God and kind of like start, putting your life back together and just figuring it all out, And it's like, I've honestly been the happiest that I've been in years, you know what I'm saying? Because It's like I had to really, I guess, figure out my worth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been taken through a ride through so many issues with people and different things, and believing people, and not having a contract with this person or signing into a contract with this person that you trust, that it's just left me in a space where I just don't trust nobody.
Right.
I can't take anybody's word for anything, because when money comes into play, people just act funny. It just acts different. Me, I'm the same throughout, because money doesn't create relationships. When you have a real, genuine relationship, money is not supposed to go over your friendships or over people that you love, And so, I found myself feeling like I'm the only person that think about that when it comes to this industry, because everybody's about themselves and
Yeah.
you know, different stuff like that. I had to like really start thinking like, who am I? Like, you know what I mean? I had to reconnect with myself. So that was like the biggest part for me, is just reconnecting with myself and realizing that God is, he's always going to be there whenever I feel like, you know, I can't make it, or if I feel like, you know, I'm misunderstood, people don't get this side, or if I'm defending myself and people take it another way. It's kind of like, you can't do anything really, you know what I'm saying? You can't be transparent. You can't be real with a lot of things. And it's kind of like in this industry, I had to learn how to be fake. And it's just, I can't. I just can't. I don't know how to smile in somebody's face and I know that you know, you kind of stopping my things, you know what I'm saying? But I'm cordial. I do it anyways. I try, you know, but it's hard. It's definitely hard.
Yeah, it is hard, man. But you dropped a lot of gems just then. I think the thing that stuck with me is like, money cannot buy relationships. And a lot of people fail to see the bigger picture, especially in the industry. You know, they go after the bag or go after that opportunity and don't think about the long-term repercussions. So,
do right by people.
Yeah, no.
That's it. Just do right by people. Like, people don't really understand that, yeah, you'll take the bag and you'll get the bag, but if you're not paying people how they're supposed to get paid, then it's going to stop the blessings that's coming into your life. You know what I'm saying? So do right by people. If people's doing the work, credit them. If people's looking out for you, credit them. Make sure they get paid on time. Make sure that they ain't got eviction notice going on the doors while you pocketing the money. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Treat people good. Treat people good. That's all you got to do, and you will always thrive, because people always remember, you know what, this person looked out for me when this happened, or this person did this, whatever. And that's why I have a great name when it comes to business, because I treat everybody like I would want to be treated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. I think that's a good note to end on right there. Let the church say amen. You dropped some gems right there, man. But no, seriously though, bro, I really enjoyed speaking with you, man. Your story and your journey is incredible. It's inspiring. So keep on doing what you do. You know, let's make sure we support this man in every field of his endeavors, whether it's music, producing, songwriting, engineering. For real, man. No, I'm truly happy for you. When things open up, I'm in Atlanta. Come through to the Pandora office so we can chop it up in person when it's safe.
Definitely. You know, it's crazy right there. So you got to be careful, man.
Listen, I've been staying out the way. You ain't seen me in the clubs or partying like they were this past weekend.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
You ain't gonna see me. People were coming from out of town.
The Pandora office and catch the, you know.
No.
Like,
I'm staying out the way, bro. I am staying out the way. But listen, you be safe as well, man, and let's keep the lines of communication open.
Of course, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, man. Be safe.
You too.